Kalachakra Lama Rinpoche, Dagi, Urube Meden Shula, Garin, Jembekone, Jason, Ozondo Yengoza Dozo, Dada, Simja Damjeju, no Chosun Rover, Jinja Labdozo, Cholamdon Rover, Jinja Lamjuba Zawar, Jinja Labdozo, Treba, Ishezo Jawara, Jinja Labdozo, Ganda Jojo, Donginje, and the ship Lomar. Kansoda nendra dambe, choji jambe, cherre nyembran, doba damje, ndere je. Tataring, Karansola, tene ta tungorki, wan toba indu, tene wangi tamsikti, tene ta 다 준체지 냠슬랭 고요래 대송장 인도 데네 다른 둥거를 생기 냠네 뒤반디 올라드네 yes.
Now we have received the Kalachakra Tantra initiation completely, and Rinpoche will explain about the spiritual commitment, about the practice in a very brief way.
Tene tatines to tene tarel tungol henjeki tene gomdeti tene tisjare is tene ma 시체단 개 ngaran susanga dorji tekbala ane zawasum sene yores zawasum ti tene ta chenab ke zawa lama tene ngodu che zawa yedam tene ke zawa chugyong sene zawa sum sene tene sanga sanga dorji tekbala yore tene 인도 tene zawa sum ti tene jekdu zogbe ke gone tengaran zo sanga dorji tekbe chödi nyamsu lengu yores tere tene ti zawa sum ti sasan jekdu zo ma toba tene to베네 tene sanga chödi tar toba nyamne che yakale kagore te indu te kandes tene jekdu zo
So we'll be explaining the brief practice or daily practice of the Kalachakra Tantra. Now generally speaking, in the Vajrayana and secret Vajrayana or Tantrayana practice, we have to consider the three important roots. And when we talk about these three important roots, it is the Lama, Yidam, and the protectors. For the blessings' sake, for the purpose of receiving the blessings of the transmission of lineage, you have the lamas, and to accomplish, for the purpose of getting the accomplishment or the siddhi, then you have the yidam. Then for the purpose or for the benefit of the activity aspect of the whole Dharma, then you have the Dharmapalas or the protectors. So when one is practicing the Vajrayana or Tantrayana practice, these three roots should be combined. One should fulfill all the necessary of these three roots. Without having completed or having these three roots in one's practice, so no Vajrayana or Tantrayana practice can be complete.
telungun zingor teletini thon thambe lamas chini singe yore teni thik hare resna pena yoba teni takbe thada meba chebeta takshi ni ji thalen deba indu teni pena
essence of the Dharma or the Dharmakaya aspect. The definition of the Dharmakaya is free from the four borders and free from every kind of 8 types of different fabrications, and it is emptiness in the wisdom aspect. Now, when we talk about this ultimate Lama, which is the essence, the Buddha nature or the Dharmakaya aspect of the mind of the Lama, which means it is free from any kind of a defilement and obscuration. It's completely liberated or eradicated from any kind of obstacles and obscurations and defilement, and that is the Dharmakaya. which is the ultimate meaning, or ultimate essence, or the ultimate truth of the whole phenomena, that is free from, which means free from death, stagnation, and cessation, or birth. This is the definition of the Dhammakaya. And when on the ordinary level, we ordinary beings do not have this quality of the Dhammakaya, because we have all the defilements and obscuration that has to be purified. And when it is purified, and that mind of the Lama, which is the Dhammakaya, is no different from the one's own mind when it is purified. Therefore, essentially, one has to have this confidence and the realization or knowledge that in truth the mind of the Lama and your own mind is same, inseparable in the ultimate quality of the Dhammakaya.
This one's tene ngaranzu yedam ga sa se gombe ge kapsu nyamne chebe kapsu da yedam ga sa se nguen zembe ge kapsu la tene ngone ge yedam ga sa khayin bade tene so so hakhoye ke chembres tema to chikpha number samjil tene 답변은 가는 줄 사티샤바요 당가난 되네 다가나 사 꾸짜샤바요 근데 세연도 저기 예담 거 사스리 직 오늘 지당 가는 줄 직된배 사나 신직 직 예대바 지당 직 근데 직 소소게 삼노 땅에 티드바이나 땡가는 줄 오늘 상가 도르지 택베키 되네 람라 슈네 되네 예담 거 사냠네 제바티 되게요 말이지 좀 전에 텔 때네 tene lam gezo ni remba ni go ne dub go ya jum sen thi tene thangbo jebe remba de gong go ya jum sen de kharare sena danda ngaran chola khan chena yang tene ninjing ge tokba yo re ninjing ge tokba yo ba ma che tene tham che la nzimba yo re ha ko so tene nga samba chi da shen samba chi da tene daga na sing den dere samba chi nzimba yo re ten nzimba chi yudu tene nzimba thi tene 시구고 요래 짐바티 시야라 출발에 되는 인생 생활이 요 말에 되는 출발에 전에 쇼탐제 마주 뭐 조비 요 말에 동반이 레스 전에 파 다가스 전에 되는 딕스 코라 샘 릭베게 하코와 잠지게 되는 디 검샤베게 디튼 바나 하코베게 캬바요 말에 하고서 마고베 마체 디 바나 들라 소소게 시다게 카시 게 되는 디 스트러글 스타치게 요래 대선자 인도 상하기 람생에 탑 케버도 파고 인도 되네 무엇 되네 코라 독스테 파까네 지금 요 말. 티까네 마체바디 지 가세오래 되네 마카스 전에 마가바 가야 말해. 가르레스나 빼나 당진 더버지나 당진 생에데 다네 조비 여버지나 되네 까네 매버지 속고 요라 봐. 당진 생에데 다네 조바 매버 손자 이나 당버데 까고야지 가야 요 말해. 하고서와 까네 방 고주 여버지 말해. 대인도 대손자한테는 좀세 될 때네 빼나다 파다 다생에도 주바 요 말에 단지 요 말에서 파까베게 잡라 되네 빼나 이담 그 하게 다 빼나 다기 공고에 좀세도 된다 되네 되네 빼나 나라 다 빼나 라생에 지게 단진지 요래 디요 말에서 파 마가바 체네 디코라 되네 탑기 되네 디시네 되네 디파 다베게 남발라 줄이야 아고서 단단가 스냐데 마다바레 가르레스는 가 생에들 좀바체네 되네 니린 차당 똑바지 열어봐 아고서 디 되네 예담게 하이 남발라 파고네 되네 디야 되네 출신도게 되네 고란 가서 오래 단다 예 콘셉트는 신기 변 따와데 만으로에 그 토네 소소게 냠네 양 타버지 제투베이나 되네 모네게 디 당진의 좋아 팽겨요레스.
Now, when we are practicing and applying the Yidam practices in sort of a meditation and in the paths, and when we try to recognize and have some concept about the Yidams in their different aspects and different manifestations that are being presented to oneself in the form of paintings like Thanga, in the forms of statues, or in different aspects like we should have this clear understanding and the knowledge that all these yidams are actually not really existential like what we might think. Like we should not consider these yidams like any one of the worldly god, that they do exist or they do really live like presently living like. And if one go through these practices on the yidam practices with this view that these yidams, in whatever manifestation they appear, they are actually existing, and do the practice, then it is wrong like approach. It's completely a wrong approach. Therefore, in the secret Vajrayana practice or Tantrayana practice, we have this very skillful methods or the means in which we do the meditation, such as generating stage and then the dissolving stage or a completion stage, as a very effective and skillful means or path. And why we do this is, the main purpose and main reason behind this very skillful purpose is to cut this dualistic concept we have from the very beginning out of the habitual tendency. All of us have this dualistic concept. Not only have this dualistic concept, but we stick to this, we cling to this. To lose this clinging to the dualistic concept, we do this meditation on the generation stage where we generate the deity, then completion stage in which we dissolve that. When we intellectually understand whole phenomena is emptiness, they are essentially do not have the inherent existence, and they are not materially composed, and they are empty. Intellectual understanding is not enough. Through intellectual understanding, one may understand and know it is all empty, but one will not be able to realize it. That is why, on top of this intellectual understanding about the emptiness of the whole phenomena, we apply this very effective and skillful means of a Tantrayana. And in the path of the Tantrayana, we are not blocking. We are not just refusing, and we are not just blocking that the ego clinging like. If there's something existing, there's no need to block like. But we are clinging to something which do not exist originally, doesn't have inherent existence. And instead of blocking it, just refusing it, we are applying this very effective and skillful means in which we transform that ego clinging into an emptiness through the method of a Vajrayana and Tantrayana practice. And like we all have this very strong clinging to oneself as me. And in the yidam practices, like when we do this yidam practices as a skillful means of a Tantrayana, we transform ourselves in the form of yidam, put ourselves in the aspect of the yidam and do the meditation of the generating stage. Then you dissolve the generating state into emptiness. In this way, we are applying this very skillful means in which we are transforming this ego clinging and clinging, which is clinging to something which is not really existent, into through the application of a meditation such as the Dzogrim and Kerim, we now dissolve the clinging gradually and transform into a purer aspect of emptiness. And we have also spoken about the view, the perfect view that is necessary when one is entering into the path of the Tantrayana. And without having the mistaken view, one should apply this method or skillful methods such as this Kerim and Dzogrim.
That's in this, then Tuxman Dumbek Capsula. Then Bena Tangbo Susu Rani Yidam the Palakiata. Then T. Jesula, then Tigi, then Yishiba Jendayata. Then Tilla Cheba Puyata, Deba Puyata. Then Tagana Shingita Susu saw Davia, that in the Manguyore. Then it is then Tagana Shingan Dunjana, which is Sumbina, then the Tambo and Dunjaka. Then it gave a Mazitilla Yishiba Jende. tene tela tem tene tela cheba pu teba pu tene bende je ing tang ngo zaro na sten shu tene si yor ba te go be jum sen de kan de se na ngone ge thön thambe ge tanda na zu yidam go la ran la tene cheba pu ne tene gawa je da ma pu ne ma gawa la so be ge na zu jig dem be ga na shi tende ge ma re so 가르 레서나 마란 소라 뒤도 남바 군도나 되니 마란 수 미스 단 짐바 마란 수 금자 베는 자 마란 소이나 칼라사고 요라바 되네 다가는 신게 미기 떠봤다는 마란 수 가보 요래 다가는 신 현단 레서나 야페로나 슈로나 스전 되네 소이저 자 되네 마란 수 지기 요라바 제가 다 된주 뒤준도 마란 수 간데 지기 요라서나 되네 제단 게 라와당 도바 redo ni ge tone tene tenzu chigi yo sonza ten ngana zo mada be na wasigi yo da thi tene jangwe ge chunchela dagba la jang chunchela tene yidam ge lae ge namba tene sene tene cheba pyo deba pyo tene sene tan dorna yidam ge bena ngana zo nyamnen thi jodo namba gondola ji tujung ge mitsela pengore se ya tanga tisigi yo ba ma do damban do ya tenzu sangma jik tujung ge dan jawa zane me de ban da bachi 뒤준텔라 팸바자는 매바다 따오니네 말이지 하고서 되네 하고도 되네 베나다 이담거사 만다와 텐저 카실라 군도 장세 만다와 차 망뇨다 맨다 망부여 텐저 레레라 코란 거바 레레 하고서가 되네 디 베나 타고라 장양 천체레레 요레스 되네 텐저 되네 다가스 전에 되네 베나 소소의 샘게 파스네 되네 요새 간가 독삼 샤베겐 되게 요 말에 되네 단다 나나도 유 베나 예담 그 하튼 좀 같은 간가 탐제 쿵 독사도 율 독고요래 유 텐조 되네 산지 송 샤베게 유 장자래 되네 산지 그 간데진 송 버렸잖아 고라 심제 강을 강도르기 토네 아니 고라 베나 탐제 팀비 이식 토네 송고요래 마도 tene tendeji sona ti chandik bundu cha thuk soya ti tene bena asagore khashela tanda ti ula chodo te cho ti jikpa shadang gi chunchere tede jarchana yagundu skongon rabada tene khashege cha thu de percent thu le jarjudu samsan rabad tat tendege tangara yore ta khashi tende jarchar tende mare khura ti sun jikba zamje mayimba sanjege bena 이시 탐지팀비 이시 그 송바 인도 텔라 코랑 거바 하고 캐버도 파고요. 레스. 하고서 텐데르 요레 대선자 인도 때문에 계란 속에 냠네 이 베나 간데지 있나요? 다리 뒤주 콜로 있는다 간데지 있나요? 투드 넘버 컨트롤 베나 티 이름 그 검거비 좀 센데. 시에고요. 레스.
For example, take pujas as an example. When one is doing a puja or sadhanas, all the people who are doing it, first they visualize themselves in the aspect of the deity. Then, through the visualization, you invoke the wisdom aspect of the deity. And when you are invoking or welcoming this wisdom aspect of the deity, you make the prayers of praises and make a prayer and make offerings. The reason for doing this thing is that it is not that when you make this meditation and sadhanas where you welcome and visualize the invoking of the wisdom aspect and must make praises and offerings and all those things. Like if you do not do them, they will be displeased, and if you do them, they will be very pleased. And so like you have a blessing and accomplishment like that. It is not like that. Now generally we all have this clinging, like it's a very natural aspect of the beings. We have a clinging and attachment, like there's always some kind of expectation, hope and doubt, and that is an impure aspect of the mind. When it is freed from any kind of attachment which involves hope and doubt and expectation, that is a pure aspect.
반대 도시 장화를 근접도 라마 갈마도 이진걸 본전 중에 세시 바주로 예담난줄 전에 군제 제보 원주로 조정 배제 점로라 난주로 지제 그 벤도도 라면 도제 종와라 어더심제 담제죠 로주존로 와라 진제로도서 저런도로 와라 진제로도 남주바서 와라 진제로도서 주바 이셰소 자와라 진제로도서 따다링 쇼게 그런 프로그램 토픽 잡아디 차게 챔버스 전에 근데 샤요레 전에 차게 챔버스야 다 지단기 셰베이나 아니 나는 좀다 추라 전에 셰람 제버스 전에 요레 대인도 전에 차게 챔버라이나 쿠란 라나양 시 차게 챔버도 남지 차게 챔버도 레뷰 차게 챔버도 지금 대송비 예와 요르데 이나야 단 차게 챔버스도 자외게 더도기 레뷰 차텔라 단 차게 챔버기 냠네스는 세게 요레스.
So the topic for this morning is Mahamudra according to the program. Generally speaking, there is a many different way of understanding what Mahamudra is. Mahamudra is also can be classified into the base, part and the fruit. And when we are talking about Mahamudra for today, it is the result or the fruit.
전에 제단기 전에 차게 챔버스 전에 말한서 세기요레 전에 차게 챔버스에 그 돈다데 가르레서는 직코라는 저와 잡이나 전에 차안에 동배런신데 야네 텔레 맨다와 오스전에 송버레 전에 차 생에디가 돈다디 전에 쇼탐체 코라 런신 겨와메바 동배 동번이 그 돈텔레스 고요레스 야네 텔레 맨다와 오스데 야네 전에 동버레 센두 전에 가야 메바 베나 가서고레 전에 메가 전에 동바 동장다고지 체버타원다고기 동바 텐데제 마임바 전에 동바 티게 전에 베나 초탐체 런시 겨와메바 동바 임바 이나양 전에 동바 임베 좀 생라 때네 전에 가야 넘버 망가 차르도로에기 전에 서르기 차텔라 전에 야스게 들고고요레스 전에 대다부기 전에 동바 대당 전에 서와 숭도 주바 전에 챔버스 전에 맥다비요레스 전에 차게 챔버스 전에 오네기 딱 고랑 식고랑기 고안다부디 가서 그래 생된다부디 다 된다 됐어요레스.
Now defining the word or the term Mahamudra, in Tibetan it is called Chakya Chembo. Chak is symbolizing the emptiness aspect of the whole phenomena. Gya is not just empty but much more beyond than the empty. There is a space, there is a clarity, there is a space where things can be moved. There's no stagnation or cessation in it, which is the condition and nature of the emptiness. And within this clarity, there is a possibility to have any kind of manifestation. So to this clarity, it is the second term gya is the meaning of this thing. Like then on top of that, you have added this Chembo, the great Mahamudra. Now the union of the emptiness and clarity, where there is a possibility of every kind of a manifestation, like without any kind of obstacles and obscuration. And this being the great, then you have added this Chembo, which means the great Mahamudra or the great seal is sometimes translated like that. Yeah.
This yours. Tene tel tene tene bana kashege tene kasore chagje chembo singed lamsan chik tene ngotenge ke tene jikte choshop tene daga nan shinki tene bana ngote sandabuji ina lamsan 직 람산 못대보다 남성 옷이 초초나고 지게 근데 상구요데 근데 용투비야 말했어 인도 때는 간데 고고요서는 당보 단에 소수게 단에 그런 추게 단에 따외 내로도 양타고 또 고고요 그랬어 하고서 따와 양타고 또 고고요 그래 디 마또나 단에 따와 양타고 만데나 단에 배나 람디 양타고 용야 매버렸어 하고서 단에 람 양타고 지면은 단에 레버톱 좀 매버렸어 디 인도 당보 오늘 따와디 양타고지 다 양타 타도 된담배 내로 따와디 간이 뭐 소소게 약고지 하고 고고요래 대체 되네 대땡돌라 되네 소소게 람드베 값솔라 소사 집잔데 하장이 개체물이었어 소사 집잔데 되네 마체나 한당에 곤시에는 신게 하마고야티 뭐마시야티 알아서 되네 드바경 개 통투고요 말 드바 장고고요 드바 장원 제발라 소소게 소사 드바 장네 대코란 배는 하는 중으로 라보다 되네 메인베게 가이네 소소게 개와 좀 드레스잖아 고고요 대 제고고요라마도 팀마 제발라 가스 총람레 알람사 총람 되는 중으로 인스네 제베게 절투비아요 네 되네 사과도 저 벤다 그 준다고 지천배이나 근데 개체슈대 근데 가서 그래 다나 먹으다 근데 다가나 신기 근데 심지어는 참 닝진이 돼 근데 하장기 근데 개체물 했어 그래서 근데 심지어는 닝진 매봐 근데 최라 다나다 이세 매봐 찍게 근데 자기 전부 못 되게 인스는 믹스보다 독스대비나 통토야요 그랬어 하고서 그래서 혼자 인도 때네 단다 딱 하자시앙을 저 당보 잡dom들 때네 대제소를 전주 쌤비도 만들 때네 대제소 견한 속에 때네 가서 그래 되게 콜레 원슈 상하게 때네 원슈 때네 다 다른 그런 때문에 존재를 보지게 때네 저당 착쟁이 걸 단도를 시작을 해 근데 얘는야 근데 그냥 람 장고요. 아마도 착신스들 지금 명칭부 지금 삼네. 근데 람산직 하고 초조한다고 지던데 진짜네. 그래서 비슷도 소수기 근데 냠내를 간데 좀 맞은 라네 그랬어.
So Mahamudra is called the direct path and the path of liberation like direct path
근데 나로 추룩 같은데 요레스 근데 텐즈 상마지 가서 오래 간중 연중라 근데 지 남사 시에 초초 땡 초초 근데 지 남면의 제 초초라고지 다시 근데 상고요 텐즈 시다게 그나 내 추억 내서 하마고 좀 되레스 가르레스는 텐즈 그나 근데 레더 까반데 막 그나 뇌는 데면 지 거는 냠는 제 구구요라마도 그때 예제 강가를 년저서 상만 시에 되는 거예요
direct path and the path of liberation. It is, even though it is so, but it is it is not possible unless and until the individual is purified of all the negativity that is obscurating the true nature of the mind. Why we are not able to realize the true nature of the mind is due to the fact of not being purified. So one has to work on the purification first, and to realize the true nature of the mind or to practice the Mahamudra meditation or Mahamudra, it's very important to have the right view. One should have the right view and the perfect view, the excellent view or not mistaken view. Then one has the base of a not mistaken view, then one is on the right path and the correct path. When one is following the right and correct path, then only one can achieve the right result. And to achieve this right result, one must go through the practice of a path, follow the path in which there is need of a path of accumulation of merit and purification of negativity. Through only accumulation of positive merits, then one can be purified of negativity. So it is very important to go through the preliminary practices for the sake of the purification of negativity and accumulating the positivity or merit. And now in the case when one is following the Kagyu tradition, in the Kagyu tradition, the emphasis is put upon the pure view or a pure concept upon the Dhamma and the Lamas, and having devotion and confidence to the teachers and to the teachings, then having love and compassion to the sentient beings. If all these characters or qualities qualities like devotion, confidence and love and compassion are not existing within the practitioner or a meditator, no matter how hard you try to meditate with your eyes closed and sitting on a crossed leg for a long time, they will be just a futile, would not bring any result. Now, in these days when during these days when we are gathered here, we have first taken refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, then developed enlightened attitude or a bodhicitta motivation, and then received the Kalachakra Tantra initiations. This has been the process of a very well arranged and very good process, how the Vajrayana practitioners go through. Then now result, the Mahamudra. When we are talking about the result, the Mahamudra, as auspicious connection, to build an auspicious connection to all the auspicious things that we have had. Little instruction, little teachings on the Mahamudra is also given now. But it should be noticed that just getting an instruction and teaching on the Mahamudra, the true nature of the mind, will not make you enlighten or see your nature of the mind immediately. As one has been explained, to realize the true nature of the mind, one has to go through the process of purification and accumulation of a positivity. And then some people might think Mahamudra is something that anybody can talk about and tell to public, and anybody can listen, and so that one can understand and realize the nature of the mind. And Mahamudra is a big name, and Mahamudra is a great thing, and one can handle it it should be handled really in any way. And this is not even the Mahamudra teachings are given publicly or in any way without any condition and consideration, and even one is able to listen to it, but one will not be able to realize it, because one needs to have a good karma or a pure karma for that. And that is, as mentioned, having gone through the process of purification. And it's very difficult that just receiving instruction on the Mahamudra, teaching on the Mahamudra, the true nature of the mind, the great seal, will liberate oneself immediately on the spot. Such things are very rare.
Atruveres, then Shira Gabuchung, Tarinde, San Sebastian Lake, and a Tungor one, the take around some time when you Jenny, then it Cassaway, so a chamber gone, Jan's Cheshua, this Jenny, the Shira Gabuchungs, and the tea in do. Then the Tataregi, the one that church, Kaina, take it around to Gula, then a Choyan Tabachi, Gula Giota. Timman Sebege. Then tell Dane Maumbala, Janazum, Simjamong, Pen Totobege, Tingaran, Madam, you, Akoson, then Maumbala, Yogan Jails.
So we finish here today, and it has been a very great joy to be in San Sebastian and give the Kalachakra Tantra initiation. And Rinpoche appreciates and takes the great joy to all the people who could come and participate on this great occasion of receiving the initiation, putting a lot of effort and coming from very far places. So by the virtue of having gone through this difficulty and having been together here,
다 chuk nyamlen thang tenen thaga na sing tu da number kun du ge ta so so ge la ga khare yin te zo ya go yong ta ni ga
like by the virtue of all these things which we have done together, Rinpoche prays and hopes that we all will be understanding the Dhamma properly, and may the Dhamma be perfectly understood and be within our own mind. And through the understanding of a perfect Dhamma and practicing, may we be able to benefit the sentient being, and wish you good luck and for everything, for worldly and spiritual pursuit.
Okay, thank you very much, and then I hope that you have a nice traveling.